Hello, this is just a quick video to introduce you to another computer that we've recently repaired at the museum. It's the Texas Instruments TI99 4A. Now, if you've been following the socials for the museum for a while, you might remember we posted some photographs of this in pieces when I first started repairing it, and that was a long time ago. And actually the reason why I tried to repair it at all is because I thought it would be really easy and not take too long. Well, I was completely wrong about that. It's taken me a really long time, and there are several reasons for that, but probably the main one is the very unusual architecture this machine has. It actually came out in 1979, and it was actually a 16-bit computer, which was way ahead of any other machines at that time. So it was a really unusual architecture, and it's almost as if Texas Instruments looked at all the other machines that were on offer and said, we're not going to do it like that, we're going to do it a totally different way. And this machine was the result. So the architecture of it is quite unusual, quite complicated. It took me a long while to track down what was actually wrong with this machine, which is that the CPU had failed. So we managed to source a new CPU, and it's now working. I then had some issues with this box at the back here, which is the PAL modulator. So basically the computer can't drive a TV directly. It sends a signal into that box, and that box then creates an RF signal which can go into a TV. Our modulator was working, but it wasn't giving a great picture. So I've had to do some repairs and even some modifications to that based on some advice from some really helpful people on the Stardot forums. And now it's working quite well. I am told that what I should explain is normally this would output like a signal that goes into the TV aerial, but the quality of that, even at the best of times, is never great. So I've modified this to a composite video output based on a design that's found in various places online. I actually found the best guide was on the TI99 Italian Users Club website, and that's what I've done. It does work, but I'm advised that it's not really the best way to do it, so the picture quality could be even better, but I think for the time being we're going to go with this and see how it works. Just looking at the machine briefly, got a couple of unusual features, the most obvious being this nice aluminium case. Well, the case is actually plastic, but it has an aluminium sort of, I don't know what you call it, like a little cloak around it of aluminium. Apparently this was expensive to produce and undermined the profitability of this machine. Other interesting features, it doesn't have a delete key at all. To delete, you just have to use the back arrow and overtype whatever you've typed wrong. And it doesn't have cursor keys either. The cursor keys are on these keys here. It has a cartridge port here. So although it can load games from cassette, the easiest way is going to be with cartridges, and we do have a few cartridges at the museum, as I'll be able to demonstrate. When you switch it on, you get this screen. Pretty unusual for a computer of the time to have a kind of splash screen like this, and you can see the date there, 1981. The original version of this machine came out in 1979, but it had a chiclet keyboard, so like calculator keys basically. This 1981 version has a much improved keyboard that's more normal. So if we press space, you get a menu, and the idea is that you can have more than one item on the menu based on add-ons that you plug into the machine and cartridges as well. But with the basic machine, you just have one item on the menu, which is number 1. So press 1 and it goes into TI Basic. Now you would think that being a 16-bit computer, this would be quite a fast, powerful machine, but actually because of its unusual architecture, Basic is extremely slow on this, very slow compared to competing machines, and that was probably part of the reason why it was not the most successful home computer. What we'll do is turn it off, the on-off switch is on the front here, and pop in a cartridge. So we've got TI Invaders, obviously Space Invaders, that goes in there very neatly. Turn it back on, get the same splash screen, but now when we press space we have another item on the menu. So if I press 2, Space Invaders comes up. Now you can probably see the slight variation in background color that I'm seeing here. What should be black at the top, that's black over there, has sort of become a kind of slight gray down at the bottom corner, and that's one of the problems that I've got with this modulator. I think we're going to go with this for now because it's not too bad, and I think on a CRT television it will probably be all right. If I press 1 to start the game, you can see that it's pretty good implementation of Space Invaders. It's quite fun to play, and this machine does have some good games going for it. The big advantage of this machine is it has quite a lot of colours, and I'm going to reset this. And the graphics chip in it has some quite powerful sprite functions, so it does make writing games relatively easy. And so although there are not a huge number of games for this machine, there are some quite good ones, and people do still produce them in the 21st century as well, so it might be worth checking out some of those new games. If you're interested in this machine, I would very much recommend a couple of videos that are on YouTube at the moment. There's one on 8-Bit Guy's YouTube channel, and there's also a long series starting on Usagi Electric, which is more about the actual details of how the machine works and trying to recreate one. So I could heartily recommend those channels to you if you're interested. Hope you found this interesting, and I hope you might be able to pop into the museum to see this machine when it gets rolled out shortly. Thanks, bye.